Well, Addie and I are all done for the evening. All done for the evening, and on our way back home to Ohio. Tough day, I had my concerns when the draw came out. 8-hole with Neptune. How would Captain Incredible be? I didn't expect a mile in 51-3 out of his class, but nevertheless, it is what it is. That's what they went. So a breakdown of today. A horrible day in Ohio, just snowy and just a miserable day. And I'm worried it's still actually. I bet you they got a half a foot of snow. Now, I shouldn't say that. I had no idea. They got none here. But when I was leaving this morning, it was well on its way to being a significant amount of snow that landed on the ground in Ohio, at least in northeastern Ohio. Made my way over here, raced Neptune. When you start getting into those high 30 starts of the year, it doesn't take a lot to turn the engine off. That's for sure. Neptune, he's a nice horse to drive, but I've seen him do this before, where you stretch him early, stretch him hard. He just doesn't have the same pop on the end of the mile, and then you factor in a bunch of starts in the year. I just think maybe he's looking for a little bit of a rest. And I told you guys that this horse had grown on me. Now, a lot of the questions, I'm going to get some questions about him in regards to the same thing I'll tell you about Captain Incredible. But when it comes to Neptune, I don't think gelding Neptune is going to change Neptune. I don't think anything's going to change Neptune. I rather like him. I like the horse he's become. He's taken a mark of 50 on a good day here. He's a good, again, type of horse that I'm trying to stay away from, is that middle condition horse. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you're racing. If there isn't a consistent place to race you, then it's going to become a problem at some point. For right now, I just think it's a little hard to cast too much of a shadow on Neptune. He's raced almost 40 times this year for us, and that's a lot. It's a lot. So now I suppose there's two ways of looking at this. I'm sure he drops way down in class now. Do we race him in the bottom class and then turn him out, or do we bring him back in the bottom class for the bottom class? I think the latter would be the best way to go about it, but we'll see. Now, Captain Incredible post-paraded well, felt good, felt better than his last start. He's never been a big, gigantic lever, and really all I wanted to do was stay close to the 1, 2, and 5. I got away fourth, right where I wanted to be. Fifth, actually, as Jeremy Indoff left out of the 9-hole with Andy Rickard's horse, cleared to the front, set some pretty sharp fractions, and then getting into the last turn, I thought that was the right move to make. Following Brady, the speed was hot, and when we got to the turn, you can see Captain Incredible get out of gear a couple of times. He's into that inside knee. Usually he'll get into the outside knee. Today he was into his inside knee in the last turn. I almost lost him a couple of times, but he stayed right at it. I mean, he pushed through it, but was flat finishing up. You got a horse that is not on the top of his game, and he's interfering like that. Again, it's not going to take a whole lot to shut that engine off for a horse like him. I would suspect that somebody messaged me after and say, do we just cut our losses? No, we have tons of options with Captain Incredible. I just think the options of him becoming the horse we bought him to be and hoped we would be are now waning and dwindling. So I think we have to readjust our expectations of him. I know that bothers me a lot. I really believe we've done almost everything right with this horse. It just has not turned out the way we wanted it to, and that's horse racing, and it's frustrating. But now what do you do? I think the biggest thing, I will tell you this: if he continues to hit his knee and get out of gear, him being a stud still will, in my opinion, pose a problem down the road, because a lot of the studs, when they start hitting themselves and getting out of gear, they get a little more sulky than, say, a gelding. I think it would make the most sense to probably geld Captain Incredible. Give him a few weeks, regroup, try to get him away from his knees. Now, that is the problem. You get a hard track in the winter. Some horses, when the track firms up, it's a little more consistent, that firmer track, and then you can square them away and shoe them the way you want. For horses with sore feet, that becomes a little more tricky. So are we going to be able to manage his ankles, his feet? Are we going to be able to keep him sound? Is he going to be able to race good all winter? I don't know. I suspect yes. But how do we get to where we need to be? We're not going to get to where we want him to be. I think that's been laid out. That story's been written so far. It's well on its way to being written. How do we get him to be the best form of Captain Incredible we can? I believe that's probably starting with castrating him giving him 3 weeks, regrouping, and see what's the best way to protect his front feet and his ankles so he stays sound. Tim has him good. He's feeling good. That hitting his inside knee, if that was the only problem, we could put a go straight on him. We could change his shoes in a number of directions and see if we can't get him out of that. But that isn't the biggest problem. I think that's the culmination of a number of things that are finally catching up to him. So I believe before it becomes a problem, castrate him now, give him 3 weeks off, train him back, get him ready, and then regroup both him and Neptune, regroup them both so that they're ready to go in 2026 in the winter. And there's nobody on earth that wishes that Captain Incredible would become the Captain Incredible we wanted. Unfortunately, he just has not. He has not got there. Now, there's always next year, but I think at some point, the hopes and dreams have to be stretched thinner and put together a proper schedule for Captain Incredible. He's an overnight horse now. Where do we race him so we make the most of what we have? And I think that's where we're at with Captain Incredible. First step, castrate Captain Incredible. Second step, turn him out. Give him a little time, maybe a couple, 3 weeks. I know he's just coming back in, but this is not the start to the end of the season. This is not the start to the winter season, and it won't be the start to 2026 we want unless we get him squared away. So I think understanding his feet are bothering him, working on him as we start to heal up that castration site, working on his feet and his ankles, and having the best form of the horse moving forward is going to be what's best for everybody involved. So that is today. A little anticlimactic. Started out with terrible weather, finished off with terrible racing, and now we're on our way home at 6:15 at night. So with that, and I see Woodmere Flojo is in to go tonight, so good luck to all my partners with Woodmere Flojo, racing at 10:35, so later start tonight. 15-1 from post 9. That's always good. Race number 11 at Mohawk. Good luck to you guys. We're not racing Saturday or Sunday according to the calendar. I'm sure we had something in Sunday. According to the calendar, it's Woodmere Betcha. That can't be right. That can't be right. I'm calling shenanigans on the calendar. But as of right now, we've Woodmere Betcha Monday, 10 hole, but still 3-1, so in a good spot. Salisbury, Ian, Trosa, and Greatest Ending on Tuesday. It says Tuesday at Northfield. They were drawing Tuesday today at Dayton. A lot of scheduling conflictions over the next week, but a lot of horses racing. But for the two today, I think one guy probably proved he's pretty close to needing a rest, and the other guy, we're just going to make a tiny change to his schedule, starting with a G instead of an H. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great start to your weekend. I know it wasn't the start we wanted today, but you know what? We had a great Thanksgiving yesterday. I hope you did too. The horses will get them squared away and ready to roll for you next week. But for right now, take care. Have a great rest of your Friday. Start to your weekend. And we'll talk to you all soon.